We all got the beads on today, Ann, and yeah, we're celebrating big time. All right, we're going to do a sausage and shrimp jambalaya. And this is quick and easy, about 20 minutes and we're done. Jambalaya, too, is one of those dishes. I've got my big skillet here, and I wanted to heat it up, but that's a little bit hot, so I'm just going to pull it off. Don't be afraid to do that, by the way. If you don't have a gas cooktop, which controls it, if you have more of an electric cooktop, I like to preheat my pans, but sometimes it gets just a little bit too hot. So just pull it off the heat, and you can just slide it back on when you're ready. But anyway, jambalaya is one of those dishes that it's kind of like everything but the kitchen sink. It's a rice-based dish. And then, you know, from pork to chicken to sausage to shrimp, it's kind of like cleaning out the fridge. What's in there? Very inexpensive to make, but it's just full of flavor and it's just delicious. So I'm starting out with some andouille sausage. We just picked this up at Festival. Any kind of smoked sausage will do. And we just have about a pound of it that I've sliced up and I'm going to add to my hot oil. Just get it browning a little bit. And that's going to give it some great flavor. Want a little bit of color on that. And you don't need much oil. Oh, nothing smells better than that. Now I'm going to get to work and chopping up some vegetables. Down south, they call it the Holy Trinity. And basically it's onions, celery, and peppers. And you'll find it in just about all those Cajun recipes. Just great flavor. So I'm just going to dice up some celery here. Now gumbo is another thing I love, but that's one of those deals that kind of takes all day to make. It's just a long, long process. And that's why I like jambalaya, because this is something you could throw together tonight after work. It's just that quick and easy. All right, see that great color I've got on my sausage? Time to get it out of the skillet. And it's kind of like cooking bacon. The drippings from it really are full of flavor, so we're going to use those and saute our vegetables. A little bit more oil in here, not much because we've got the drippings from the sausage. In goes onion, green pepper, this is the Holy Trinity, and celery. And we thought we'd have some fun, spice it up and add some red pepper. I might even add a little yellow pepper too. It's just kind of, we have some extra peppers on hand. Why not use them? A little oil. Take one of these yellow peppers and use it in here. A little pretty. I had the pleasure of going to New Orleans twice, and I just can't wait to get back there again. Was there when the Packers were in the Super Bowl, was there for a week doing all sorts of stories, recipes, and things like that, and then I was there right before Hurricane Katrina, which wasn't such a great time to be there. Actually, the 4 or 5 days before were fabulous, but then all of a sudden came that hurricane, and it was a little bit scary. Got one of the last flights out before the hurricane hit, so it all turned out okay, but it's a crazy time to be there, that's for sure. So I'm just letting these vegetables saute just a little bit. Do a little garlic. These are the biggest cloves of garlic I've seen in a while. I don't know what they're doing to that garlic, but big garlic these days. So 2 to 4 cloves of garlic, or in this case we're just going to use 2 big cloves. I just like to give it a rough chop. If you wanted to cut back on this recipe a little bit, you know, now they have some great turkey sausages or chicken sausages that are out there. So that's a great way to cut down a little bit. We don't have any butter in this dish, So you could also, you know, cut back on the amount of oil we're using. And this is a rice-based dish, so it's actually, you know, pretty good for you anyway. In goes our garlic. Now, you know what happens when we do fresh garlic. About a 30-second rule. You just don't want to burn it. Just get it in there and move it around, just so you can get some great garlic flavor. Once you start to smell it, we're pretty good to go. Now here's where you can kind of take your jambalaya as spicy or as mild as you like it. I'm doing a couple tablespoons of Cajun seasoning. Now you could cut back on that and do a couple of teaspoons, or you could get a milder Cajun seasoning. You know, some are hotter than others. I like to kind of keep this is kind of a middle of the road jambalaya. It's got a little bit of a kick to it, and then I collect hot sauces at home. I have my favorites, so I just serve, you know, a bunch of different bottles of hot sauce that people can taste and you know, crank up the heat as they like. But this has still got a little bit of kick to it with that couple tablespoons of Cajun seasoning. So feel free to cut back on that and just do maybe a teaspoon or so. But it's got some great flavor, and it's just starting to smell really, really good. Isn't that starting to smell good, Ann? Okay. All right. Now, we've got 1 can of diced tomatoes with the juice. A couple of bay leaves, which we'll fish out later, but it gives some great flavor. 6 cups, a couple tablespoon or 2 of a tomato paste. This is going to kind of richen the dish, and I love this tomato paste in the tube because it's like a tube of toothpaste. You can just put it back in the fridge. You don't have to open an entire can of tomato paste, which is really nice when you're, you know, making a recipe like this. Cuts down on the waste and just makes it really convenient. All right, now we've got our chicken stock. In here, and I'm going to crank up the heat. Six cups. So that's about a box and a half, and I'm using the good, love the stuff in the box. It's just really nice. All right, now back goes our sausage. And any of the drippings that have accumulated in that bowl. And I've got some 3 cups of long grain white rice. You don't want to get the instant rice. You want to get the long grain, or the converted white rice works really nicely. And then again, it's up to you to, you know, adjust your heat. This happens to be one of my all-time favorite hot sauces. It's called Cajun Sunshine. It's really got some great flavor along with some heat. And again, just pick this up at Festival, but whatever kind you have in your pantry or whatever kind you like. A few dashes, and then I always like to serve it on the side. I don't want to go crazy here. So I'm going to bring this to a simmer, put the lid on this, and we're going to check back with this guy in about 20 minutes. Now, you're saying, well, Amy, you said it was a shrimp and sausage jambalaya. Why don't you have the shrimp in there right now? If I were to put the shrimp in there right now, the shrimp would get completely overcooked. So we're going to wait to put the shrimp in, and we'll come back and finish this whole dish. But I like it because it's all in one pot. It's going to serve a crowd. You may even have some leftovers, and it's just a quick, easy way to make jambalaya. All right, let's get back to this jambalaya. It's been cooking, and that rice has absorbed all the great flavor from the sausage and the liquid and the Cajun seasoning and the vegetables. And it's a shrimp and sausage jambalaya. So whenever I'm doing shrimp in a dish like this, if I put it in at the beginning, it would just, you know, really overcook and turn rubbery. So I kind of want to put it in right at the end. And I've got 1 pound of peeled and deveined shrimp. I usually just get the frozen 2-pound bags of shrimp from Festival, and then just take out what I need, which is a nice way to do it. I'm just going to get that shrimp out of there. And the steam, it's so hot in here, and it's continuing to absorb that liquid. This is going to cook in no time, so I'm just going to kind of stir this around. Get the lid back on this guy. And in a couple of minutes, that shrimp's going to cook. The rest of that liquid will be absorbed. and it's going to be jambalaya time, and I can hardly wait.